let's talk about Nareon. Nareon was 17 and he was loved by so many people.
Yes.
Talk about um, his love for the game of basketball.
Oh man, we'll be here all day, all year. You know, when he was small, he just had a ball in his hand from the word go. He just loved it. It was just his life. I mean, his blood. He's like, Granny, when I get famous, Granny, I'm gonna take care of you, Granny. But right now, I'm gonna need a couple of dollars. Cash at me. You know. I mean, from the time he get up, he practice all day. He like, I'm playing a game Tuesday, I'm playing a game Thursday. Granny, you coming to the game Saturday. Granny, I was like, who you playing for right now? He was on different divisions, different school, the basketball team in school. He just, and it's just funny when you used to see him out there playing. He was like, they be in the crowd talking about, look at that little dude, look at that little dude. And I be turning back talking about, don't be talking about my baby, no little dude. But it was just amazing, and then you hear people say, oh, he handled that ball. And I be like, look at him, he throwing the ball like he playing volleyball or baseball. I mean, he just had that glow in his eyes. And I was just take shots of pictures and he up in the air, and I was like, look at my little Jordan. So yeah, he just had the hands for basketball.
He was your only grandchild,
Yes.
and he called you Granny Tina.
Yes. Yeah.
um, Talk about that special connection. You have a son, and then you have a grandson, but there's a special connection with the grandchild.
But when my son's older, and sometimes when you have kids in your early, 20s, you kind of grow with them, it becomes, but when you have that grandson, it was like you're more stable, you settled, this is your baby. You had this chance to redo it all over again. So I remember the day he was born. His mother called and said, I'm at the hospital about to have the baby. And I was like, all right, I'm about to go get him. And funny as my son may be, when she had him, I handed Nareon to his dad, and my son just looked at me. I said, boy, this is spitting image of you when you was born. And I could see the excitement in my son's eyes. So, and just to be my only son, and he's my only grandson, I mean, my whole last 24 hours now, because it's about this time yesterday, as much as I try to be strong, because we got my nephew, we got other kids that's looking to hold me up, and I'm looking to make sure they strong, it hurts. And to get that call, it was just like I was just put in a trance. I mean, I was just dazed. And when his mother was just hollering and screaming, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, and all I could hear is, they killed my baby, I mean, that was just trauma alone. It's like you go through life trying to help these kids out here, be there for them, and not only mine, other people's kids, and just to really get over the fact of this little baby, just a few days ago, that I was still kind of, devastated about, and then hear mines.
Let's make it clear. Nareon was not a bad kid.
Oh, no, not at all.
This is not a case where there is a young teen out in the streets doing bad things and, this is the result. Nareon was a good kid.
Yeah, he was. He was a good kid. He was well grounded. His grandmother, you know, just Friday, we going back and forth, you know, that's your baby. I'm like, no, that's your baby, you know. I mean, he was surrounded with a lot of love. And to be the oldest child of his mother, you know, he have other siblings. And me and his grandmother just talked. And, you know, we always say, where you at, Nareon? Get in the house, Nareon. You know, come home, Nareon. Who you with? You don't be riding around in the cars. You know, we kept beating him with different things. And, you know, just 2 days ago, me and her had a conversation. You know, Nareon's 17 now. Sometimes we gonna have to loosen the grip a little bit. And then to find out he had a little girlfriend, you know. And I know, and for the most part, you know, we try to teach him, especially being in the field that I'm in. I see these young kids, I see what's happening to their lives, and I talk to him. I talk to him about gunplay. I talk to him about some of the things, what to look for, and he was like, Granny, I don't be around people like that. You know, I don't, and I know that Nareon is scared of guns. You know, he just is, you know, but I'm still looking for answers.
I was going to say, there's still a lot of unknowns out there, uncertainties, and we want to squash all rumors and
Yes.
all let the police do their investigations.
Right.
What would your message be to other parents, other grandparents out there who have teenage kids out there? You know, right now it's a different time.
Yes.
We have teens who aren't able to go to school, who have a lot of idle time, who are hanging out at friends' houses. What would your message be to parents and grandparents right now who have kids Nareon's age?
My message is, all I can say right now is just love them. Just give them all the attention. Just give them all the love. You don't know what a kid is out here seeking. You know, sometimes kids have a second thought when they in the midst of something. They'll be like, you know what would my grandmama say? Or, you know, what if this happened, you know? I mean, just try your best to make sure you know your kids' surrounding. You know, a friend of mine, you know, Willie Knight said, go in their room, check their phones, see what they're involved in. You know, just take out that special time, you know, especially when they're going through that age. And I mean, I honestly can say that, I mean, Nareon was always in the gym, always working out, always, you know, the coaches have him. I mean, from 5 years old, Ray Scott just took him under his wings. I mean, he worked with him. These coaches just, I mean, they gave him all the discipline. You know, of course, you know, he'd get in a little mischief, little stuff like, oh, Granny, I didn't put that over there, Granny, that wasn't me, you know. But out of all these 17 years, my grandson has never been in any type of trouble. You know, no type of fights, no type of anything with the law enforcement, you know. So I'm still baffled, you know. I'm hearing things, but of course, you know, I'm gonna let the police do what they got to do right now, you know. You hear a lot of different things, so, but what's the hurting part is, no matter what I hear, and no matter what I find out, my grandson's not coming back. So my message, if that we can change or help other people, their kids, you know, like I tell you, we go around here and we try to do what we can. We try to make sure kids got the needs, the supplies for school, be there for the parents, and then you get that phone call about your own. You know, and I have to say, is there a message with this? You know? So, we just gonna go on. We're gonna put my baby on, send him on home, and send him home right. You know, Nareon got a lot of friends, a lot of people love him, you know, and just to see all these people that come out and say all these wonderful things about your grandson, as hurt as you might be, you know, it's just so overwhelming. There's some people that I've never met that my grandson has touched their lives in so many ways. So I know that he has a grandmother, grandfather, good friends, my friends all up there waiting on him, cheerleading him on with that basketball in his hand. Yeah.
How does one move on from here? How do you pull yourself together and go on?
I don't know. All day long, even though we had a march, which was a cause, my mind and my heart was like, I can't do it. But when I woke up this morning, like he would text me. And sometimes when he knew I was upset with the passing of my mother, whenever I'm upset, he'd be like, Granny, don't cry. And I could see the hurt in him. And that was all that was playing in my ear. Like, Granny, don't cry. And I said, okay. But what made me strong is this man right here next to him, my little nephew, and to look in his eyes and see his hurt. He don't understand. I'm trying to keep him strong. He's trying to keep me strong. So I focused more on him than I did what was taking place around me today. So for me to go on, it's going to be hard. The next few days leading up to what his grandmother and his mom, his dad, his grandfather, and the rest of us, preparing, for his homegoing. That day is going to be one of my roughest days, probably of my life. So I just had to trust in God, talk to my bishop last night, talk to Pastor Parker. I just had to stay strong. And how I'm going to do that, only God knows. I just had to keep walking. I had to keep the little mans by me. Give me the love, When I look at him now, I see Nareon in him. I know he loves Nareon. That's his cousin. And I have to really embrace him and the rest of them. Darian, you know what I'm saying? All his little buddies, But what got me through the day is this child right here. Because I know he'd have been there too. He'd been like, Granny, what is you doing, Granny? Why are we down here, Granny? But he was always there.